Hi, I'm Jenny Eagle, reporter for LEEA, and I'm here with Andy Cartwright, who is the technical manager for Mentor Training. Andy, tell us a little bit about the company and what you do.
I work for Mentor FLT Training. We're probably the largest MHE training company in the UK. So we offer a wide range of training across forklifts, cranes, and when I'm talking about cranes, I'm talking sort of overhead cranes, cab cranes, those kind of things. The normal thing you'd find maybe in steelworks, that kind of thing. We also do a number of health and safety and management courses as well.
And you're joining us at LEEA LiftEx this year. Tell me about that.
Yeah, really excited actually. I've been attending LiftEx for a number of years, going there as a sort of participant and sort of looking around the exhibition and everything. So yeah, really excited. We got the invitation from LEEA and asked if we'd like to speak and do a piece of instruction. And yeah, absolutely, really looking forward to meeting people and actually being involved in the whole exhibition.
So you're taking part in day one, which is on the 21st of November in Liverpool, and you'll be taking part in the ATS, which is the Accredited Training Scheme seminar. Tell me what you'll be presenting there.
We're going to hopefully, I'll say hopefully, not try to baffle people too much. We're going to be looking at load weight and load estimation. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a number of items that could be readily found in work environments, and then we're going to be taking people back to school, hopefully not too hard, and we're going to be going through some equations. So, you know, sort of reminding people how to work out sort of radius using pi and things like that. And then we're also going to be looking at basic materials that people could find out there still, looking at comparative weights per cubic metre. And then we're going to be going through and explaining how you use those calculations to work out the weight of the load you're lifting. And then we're going to do some interactive exercises with people where we're going to be put them into either on their own or in groups, depending on how many turn up, and get them to actually run through and do those mathematical equations and then just explain exactly how they do it. And then just give them something they can actually take from it. Want to pass our knowledge on to people. We want them to be able to take something away and able to put that into practice, you know, within their own businesses. So I think that's what it's all about.
What do people need to be aware of when it comes to load estimation?
The biggest thing I think is actually knowing what they're lifting, what their equipment they're using can lift, and not just assuming anything. I think as soon as you assume that something does weigh it, if you're not 100% sure, you shouldn't be lifting it, you shouldn't be using it. And by doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the risk of people actually having accidents or incidents or anything adverse happening. So it's just making sure they know what they're lifting, they know what the equipment can lift, and more importantly than everything, they're actually trained on the equipment they're actually going to be physically using. That's massively important, especially these days.
And is there anything that surprises people when you chat to them? Do they feel they need to be mathematically oriented?
I think sometimes, yeah, when you sort of bring the equations up and it's like, well, I haven't sat in a maths classroom for 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden they're seeing all these funny equations, and remember that you've got to add 1 and 2 because that's inside the brackets first before you divide it by this. And it's just, oh, I was never good at maths. So it's trying to put it in a really sort of simplistic way, sort of say, right, you know, you divide this by this. 90% of people have got a mobile phone, so you can put that calculation in a mobile phone. Use a pencil, try not to use your head too much, and try not to do it freehand, and making your notes as you go through. And once you've actually, it's like anything, you know, once you start using it and once you start putting that into practice, it becomes almost second nature. And we found speaking to people that that's what they do. They sort of go into the workplace, they see a piece of material that they've not used before, and they're like, right, okay, get my little notebook out, right, it's a bit of that, it's a bit of that, and then put that into practice. So it's just about making sure people are safe when they're actually carrying out the whole operation. That's the whole purpose of it.
And are there any common questions that come up frequently?
Some of the most common questions are, do you know how long this is going to prolong my daily work? But if I've got to sit down doing complex mathematical calculations, is this going to add 20 minutes? Is this going to add an hour to my day? And like we say to people, you know, 90% of the time, the material that comes into your workplace is going to be all marked up. It's going to be marked up. It's going to tell you the length of it, what material it's made of, and how much it weighs. So then you're just looking to make sure that the equipment you're using can actually lift it. But for the times that you haven't got that label on it, or it's come off, or it's come damaged, or it's a piece of equipment that, or piece of material you've not seen before, it's having that knowledge and ability to put those into practice. So you do know what you're lifting, you do know the weight of it, and you're making sure it's within the realms of the equipment you're using, so it's safe to actually carry out that practice.
And you've been in the industry for over 14 years now. What kind of advice would you give to people?
Make sure you've been trained. Make sure you've been trained. Make sure the equipment you're using is safe. So before you use any piece of equipment, carry out your pre-use checks on it. Okay. And if you need to ask that question, is this safe? You've already answered your own question. So realistically, your company will have carried out risk assessments. They've got safe systems of work. Follow your safe systems of work. Make sure your equipment's safe. And if it is a new piece of equipment, or you're unsure of it, or you can't remember how to do it, don't guess. If you guess, that's when you're going to have issues. Stop what you're doing. Take a couple of minutes, go and find your foreman, a supervisor, a manager, go and speak to someone, get the knowledge, make sure you're safe before you carry out any operation. And one big thing, and probably most people in the industry will tell you this, you know, before you actually make a lift, don't just lift it straight up. Do a test lift, make sure you know your centre of gravity. If the centre of gravity is off, set it back down, realign it, check your centre of gravity, and then carry out. But most of all, think about yourself, your colleagues, and everybody else that can be affected, and just make sure you know you're safe. And one of our key messages is, you come to work in the morning, you want to go home at night. Make sure that happens for your working life. Absolutely.
Yes, very important, and some great advice there.
Well,
it's not too late for people to attend and register. And of course, they can register on the LEEA LiftEx website to participate in your seminar.
Brilliant, thank you. And like I say, come along, you'll see my happy, cheery face and you'll get a smile. So look forward to seeing you on that first day.